April 5th, 2015, was a quiet Easter Sunday in the Australian town of Leeton. For 26-year-old Stephanie Scott, it was a day for final preparations. Her wedding to her fiancé, Aaron, was just 6 days away. After the ceremony, they planned to fly to Tahiti for their honeymoon. Stephanie was a dedicated drama teacher at Leeton High School. She wanted everything to be perfect for the substitute teacher who would take her classes while she was away. With Erin out of town for the weekend, she decided to spend the holiday at the empty school. She could work without interruption. She arrived, parked her red Mazda, and let herself into the silent building. At 11 a.m., she sent Erin a simple text message. She told him she was at the school, just in case he came home early. It was a normal, loving message. She had no idea it would be a crucial clue. Stephanie sat at her desk and focused on her lesson plans. For the next few hours, the school was peaceful. But she was not alone. Another person was in the building. His name was Vincent Stanford. He was the 24-year-old relief custodian. His job was almost finished, and his presence in the quiet halls would change everything. As dinner time approached that Sunday, Stephanie's family began to worry. She had not arrived home. Phone calls to her mobile went unanswered. Her fiancé, Aaron, was driving back to Leeton. He tried calling her again and again. Each call went straight to voicemail. Finally, one call ended with a recorded message. The message said her mailbox was full. That detail made Aaron's heart sink. It was completely unlike Stephanie. He arrived home and searched the town. He drove past the dark, locked gates of Leeton High School. Her car was nowhere to be seen. The next day, Monday, there was still no word from her. There was no activity on her bank accounts. Her social media profiles were silent. By late afternoon, Aaron went to the police. He filed a missing person report. The police began their investigation. They started at the last place anyone knew she had been, the school. They checked the security system records. The log showed something very specific. At 1:31 p.m. on Sunday, the alarm was disarmed. 7 minutes later, at 1:38 p.m., it was rearmed. This created a small, mysterious window of time. What happened in those 7 minutes? Officers also spoke with Stephanie's family and friends. Everyone said the same thing. Stephanie would not have run away. She was incredibly happy. She was excited to marry Aaron. She was a responsible and caring person. She would never vanish and make her loved ones worry like this. The police soon agreed. This was not a case of cold feet. Something was very wrong. The police turned their attention to who else had access to the school that Easter Sunday. They learned about the relief custodian, Vincent Stanford. Detectives arranged to speak with the 24-year-old. When they questioned him, Stanford was calm and polite. He told them he had been at the school but had not seen Stephanie Scott. He said he had been busy with his own hobby, photography. He offered a detail to support his story. He claimed he had taken a break to visit a specific grocery store in town. The officers noted this alibi. They also noticed fresh scratches on his forehead and arms. Stanford explained them away. He said he had walked into a tree branch while taking photos. The police continued their routine checks. They visited the grocery store he had named. There, they discovered a critical fact. The store had been closed all day for the Easter holiday. Stanford's alibi had fallen apart with one simple visit. This inconsistency changed everything. Vincent Stanford was now the prime suspect in Stephanie Scott's disappearance. The police brought him in for further questioning. They asked to see the photographs on his mobile phone, the ones he said he had been taking that day. Stanford handed over his phone without protest. As detectives scrolled through the images, they found pictures of landscapes and trees. Then they stopped on two particular photographs. The images were dark and grim. They appeared to show a smoldering, burned shape in a remote bushland area. The shape looked human. Faced with the disturbing photographs, Vincent Stanford was placed under arrest. On April 9th, investigators found Stephanie's red Mazda, abandoned in a field. The next day, a witness came forward with a vital piece of information. This person told police they had seen a man matching Stanford's description on Easter Sunday. They saw him stop his car near an irrigation canal on the outskirts of Leeton. They watched as he threw a laptop bag into the water. Police divers were sent to the location. They searched the canal and recovered a water-damaged laptop. It was quickly identified as belonging to Stephanie Scott. This connected Stanford directly to the disposal of her property. With this new evidence, police executed a search warrant at the home Stanford shared with his mother and brother. Inside his bedroom, they conducted a thorough search. They found a pair of handcuffs hidden away. The cuffs were stained with what was later confirmed to be blood. They also discovered a red bra, which forensic tests would link to Stephanie. Her set of keys for the school was found there as well. In another room, a knife was located. On Stanford's personal computer, police discovered a collection of videos. These videos depicted extreme sexual violence against women. Each item added to a growing mountain of physical evidence. Despite these findings, Vincent Stanford continued to deny any involvement in Stephanie's disappearance. He offered no explanation for the items in his room. He stuck to his story about the photographs being from a movie, but the proof was now overwhelming. The most significant break in the case came from Vincent Stanford's own mobile phone. Police used its location data to map his movements on Easter Sunday and the days that followed. The digital trail led them to a remote area within the Cocopara National Park, about 43 miles from Leeton. On Friday, April 10th, investigators focused their search on that rugged bushland. That same afternoon, at 5 p.m., divers searching a creek bed in the park made a grim discovery. They found charred human remains. The remains were officially identified as those of Stephanie Scott. Confronted with the location of her body, Vincent Stanford could no longer maintain his lies. He agreed to give a full confession to detectives. His statement was delivered in a flat, emotionless tone. He described seeing Stephanie alone in the classroom. He said in that moment, he decided to kill her. He left the school, went home, and collected items he called his rape kit. He returned within the hour. He waited for her to finish working. As Stephanie walked down the hallway to leave, she passed him. She smiled, said she was heading out, and wished him a happy Easter. The moment she turned her back, he attacked. In his confession, Vincent Stanford described the attack in horrific detail. He said he dragged Stephanie, kicking and screaming, into a small storage room. It was a former photography darkroom. Inside, he punched her in the face multiple times. Then he used handcuffs to secure her hands. He brutally raped her. After the assault, he stated he hit her in the head another 30 or 40 times. Finally, he used a knife. He then described actions that revealed his cold calculation. He said he was sure she was dead. Then he left the school, drove to his family home, ate a cheese sandwich, and drank coffee. He acted as if nothing had happened. Later that evening, he returned to the school. He placed Stephanie's body in the trunk of her own car. He cleaned the storage room thoroughly. He drove her car to his house and hid it behind a shed. Then he walked back to the school to get his own vehicle. The next morning, he drove Stephanie's body to the national park. There, he removed her clothing and her jewelry. He took her precious engagement ring and her graduation ring. He poured gasoline on her body and set it on fire. He told police he later returned to the site to look at what he had done. It was during this later visit that he took the photographs found on his phone. The investigation widened to include Stanford's family. His twin brother, Marcus, became a person of interest. Police questioned Marcus, but he initially claimed to know nothing. However, a search of his computer revealed online searches for places to sell jewelry near Adelaide. The search was made just days after Stephanie's body was found. Police also found a business card for a jewelry store in Adelaide. Officers visited that store. Their records showed that on May 9th, 2 rings had been pawned there for $705. The rings were identified as Stephanie Scott's engagement and graduation rings. Marcus Stanford was arrested on June 10th. He was charged with being an accessory to murder after the fact. He later pleaded guilty. In court, he admitted he sold the rings for his brother. He also admitted he burned Stephanie's driver's license, but not before taking a photo of it on his phone. Marcus said he acted out of a twisted loyalty to his twin. He expressed regret and was sentenced to 15 months in prison. Vincent Stanford himself was evaluated by a psychologist. The assessment revealed a man filled with hatred, mostly for himself. Stanford told the doctor the attack on Stephanie meant almost nothing to him. He said he had been fighting violent urges since childhood. He showed no remorse. Vincent Stanford pleaded guilty to murder and aggravated sexual assault in July 2016. In November of that year, he was sentenced. He received a life sentence for the murder, plus 15 years for the rape. The judge stated that Stanford's total lack of remorse was a key factor in the severe sentence. Legal experts believe he will likely die in prison. For Stephanie's family and the community of Leeton, the quest became one of remembrance, not justice. On Saturday, April 11, 2015, the day Stephanie was to have been married, her loved ones gathered in a local park. They asked everyone to wear yellow, her favorite color. They shared stories and celebrated the bright, joyful person she had been. Her father, Bob Scott, spoke. He asked that Stephanie be remembered for her life, not her death. Tragedy struck the family again just weeks after Stanford's sentencing. Bob Scott was killed in a freak accident on the family farm, struck by a falling tree. Stephanie's story led to a private civil lawsuit against the education department. It resulted in promises of stricter background checks for school staff. Her fiancé, Aaron, has since found love and moved forward with his life. The story of Stephanie Scott is a stark reminder of how a single act of evil can shatter a world of happiness. But in Leeton, her memory is held in the light and in the color yellow. I thank you all for your time. Do well to drop a like if you enjoyed this episode. And as always, I will be seeing you on our next episode.